I understand that your real estate firm is currently the listing agent of 550 Park Avenue, Unit 12E, the existing Consul General premises, and I also understand that you played a part in the purchase of 57th Street. Is that accurate?
Thank you for the question. That is indeed accurate. We proceeded in two RFP processes, one for the purchase of the new official residence and one for the disposal of existing residents.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that. Now, Government of Canada officials, Justin Trudeau's government, Global Affairs, have confirmed that the purchase of West 57 was predicated on the fact that the Park Avenue property required, in essence, over $2 million in renovations. That it was originally purchased in 1961. It had renovations completed in 1982. And it was good enough for 19 previous consul generals, except for Tom Clark, who wanted a different location, and was granted that. Now, I think it's disingenuous, and I think it's actually a lie to Canadians when Justin Trudeau and his government are claiming that this property was essentially a fixer-upper. I think that could be the furthest from the truth, and I'm going to quote from your listing page for Park Avenue. A perfect example of the grand golden age apartments of the 1920s. This masterpiece is full of volume, scale, and ideal circulation. A great room with 11-foot ceilings and large windows that frame exposures to the north and east invite you into the heart of the home, while the adjacent dining room could comfortably host down a dinner of 18. Designed for hospitality, a commercial kitchen and a butler's pantry are further complemented by direct access to a separate staff office and storage room, as well as in-unit laundry, a den library just off the entrance gallery, as well as a powder room complete the northern wing. Along the southern corridor, 4 bedrooms, all with ensuite bathrooms and walk-in closets, and 2 with corner exposures, offer privacy and comfort. With its high ceilings, large windows, herringbone walnut floors, and ample storage throughout, this residence offers the perfect framework for generation living and is truly a space to behold. That, sir, is your listing. That is hardly indicative of a New York City condo adjacent to Billionaires Row that demands $2 million worth of renovations. Would you agree with that?
Thank you for the question. It is a wonderful residence, and it will serve its owners very well that has the needs that that residence will offer up. If those needs are no longer met, those residents will probably want to find another.
In your professional opinion, this is not a fixer-upper, is it? Move-in ready.
Opinion, that is not a fixer-upper.
Sir, this is move-in ready luxury, isn't it? In a heritage building.
It is move-in ready. It's a wonderful residence. It's in a heritage building. That is correct.
Correct. Now, did the government offer you any specifics on how they were going to spend $2 million worth of taxpayer dollars for renovations to Park Avenue? Did they offer any details?
We have not received any of that information.
Of course not. Did they even mention it to you, that one of the rationales for looking for a new location adjacent to Central Park in Billionaires Row was because of the $2 million expected to renovate this luxurious condo?
It was shared as part of the criteria, yes.
They shared that with you?
They shared that due renovation costs, it made more sense financially to pursue another residence.
Okay. They also told us at committee that it wasn't accessible. And when I drilled down on the government as to what that meant, they had to widen the entranceway to a bathroom. That could have easily been done on Park Avenue as well, couldn't it?
It is sometimes difficult to do work in co-op buildings, especially. Part of the reason why the cost is so high.
It's not impossible, is it?
Could be done.
It's not impossible, is it? Answer, please.
It is not impossible.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. It's interesting to hear that we've had a change of heart by Justin Trudeau's $9 million man, Tom Clark, and that he is now, after having previously said he would appear, and then saying he wouldn't appear, and then saying that he was on leave, and then when his office was contacted by media, they were told that he was, in fact, in office, now saying that he is willing to meet. So we have very disingenuous, at best, responses from Mr. Clark. It raises all kinds of questions about who the direction came from for Mr. Clark not to appear as he had originally committed to this week. And this is, of course, in the context of a $9 million residence on Billionaires Row that is going to serve one person and duplicate existing space that the Office of Canada's representative in New York already has. And we heard from Trudeau government officials last week that they were incredibly proud of the $9 million Billionaires Row accommodations that they got for Justin Trudeau's pal, and said it never occurred to them. It never occurred to them that it would be optically bad to spend $9 million on a place on Billionaires Row for a member of the liberal elite, which I think that response, they're being unaware how out of touch this was, says everything you need to know after 9 years of Justin Trudeau and his NDP Liberal government. Mr. Clark had agreed to come to be here today, and he backed out, and now he's saying he will come on one of those dates. I will say, Chair, that let's preempt the conversation we'll have on the date that's selected, that if Mr. Clark doesn't come on that date, that he'll have exhausted every reasonable courtesy that this committee could extend him, and that as the motion did pass unanimously for him to be here, that he must be summoned because he will be in defiance of this committee's wishes. It's unanimous wish, and of course will have demonstrated himself to again not tell the truth, just like he did yesterday when he said he was on leave, but in fact was not. So we'll wait and see. But it's clear that this is an effort by the government to try and delay and distract from this latest $9 million scandal. So I have a question for our witnesses. In as brief an answer as possible, is Midtown East appropriate for representational space for a G20 country in your estimation?
Hi, thank you for the question. The quick answer is yes, it is. About 95% of the consulates in New York City are located in this neighborhood or just abutting this neighborhood. There's about 136 consulates, and all but 7 are located there.
And to the other witness, sir, do you agree?
Yes, I agree 100%. The Midtown East and the Midtown Corridor in general, all of the examples we mentioned earlier in our opening remarks are based in that area, within about 15 minutes from the UN.
Okay, and just for my understanding, 466 Lexington Avenue is in that area. Just an audible yes would be, or no. You indicated yes, sir?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. So that's where the Consulate General of Canada in New York is located, is there. And so when we talk about the space that G20 and G7 countries have, we have space there. We have it in that key space. We have space that in 2018, the Government of Canada, financed by the taxes of Canadians, paid for upgraded space, representational space, meeting space, where meals could be served, events could be held, and meetings could be had at that address, at 466 Lexington Avenue on the 20th floor. But what we have now is a $9 million condo, and that condo is supposed to replace another condo that the government of Canada had procured. So my question is, what increased value will Canadian taxpayers get by having a duplicate, having a second location that's in a desirable neighborhood? Obviously, other countries are spending big sums of money. I'm not accountable to their taxpayers. I'm accountable to Canadians, as is this Liberal government. What is the increased value that we get by having a second space?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While I can't speak to the value of a second space versus a first space, it is my understanding that there is an office space and a residence space, and that the residence space generally has a facilities requirement as well to be performing as a mission asset. And so needing that space sounds like the right choice for the government of Canada. The initial
just quickly, sir, what was your commission on this sale? Just the number, if you could.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the question. The commission was pre-negotiated as part of the RFP process with the government of Canada.
And what was the number, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The commission that is received by agents during any sales process is always received by the selling party, not by the buyer's side. So the seller's party paid out a commission of 4% of the transactional value to our firm.
Thank you, Mr. Barret. I'm glad you brought up the issue of the condo rules. Global Affairs actually promised us at our last meeting to have some information back on those rules that day or the very next day. I checked with our clerk yesterday, and they still have not gone back to us. So I'm glad you've brought it up with Global Affairs if you are watching this today. And I assume you have. You owe us those documents. You promised us those documents, or at least a response about it. So I hope you will get to providing it to this valued committee.